you are a liar. So after 5 years, we can't find you again. In the days of revival, it's not about the faking it till you make it. It's not about the gimmicks. You don't need to fake it. You are not it. When you are not it, you are not it. It's not about crying in the presence of God. Yeah. When you leave here, before you finish coming out of here, somebody just match your leg. God, you know the sick. You know the sick. Where did the revival go? Because how all of a sudden you just enter the flesh and now you are made perfect in the flesh. I thought you were in the spirit. We went for a program. One of the person mightily, the person minister, I felt this person can't even talk to mortal men. I felt the person is only talking to 24 elders. Because I was thinking if I greet the person will not answer. You know, there is this fear I had because of the level of reference and how the person was concorded within the stage. And I felt it was like a sin for me to utter greetings. And by the time I met the person, the kind of words that were coming out from the person, I was shocked. And somebody just offended the person there. I realized that many people want to fake it till they make it. In the days of revival, it's not about faking it till they make it. It was genuine. Everything men do was genuine because it was fuel from a genuine love and hunger for God. May this love for you never go cold. May this oil last me till the end. And may the extra oil be just enough for the journey even to the end. I will wait for my Lord. I will wait for my master. I will wait for my bridegroom. He's all down. And may this love for you never go cold. May this oil last me till the end. And may the extra oil be just enough for the journey even to the end. See, I wish that I have a mechanism to ensure that you remain in God and on fire for God for the next 10 years. I wish. But I've been part of many revival movements, and many more times, not everybody remain in the cage. Not everybody remain in the ship. Not everybody remain to the end. Are you part of those that will fall along the wayside? Or are you part of those that will remain to the end? So when you see us crying and begging God, Father, fresh oil to last long, it's not because of anything, because we have seen men rise in this thing and go down. In the days of revival, the devil will seek his best to see how he can bring many down. In the book of Revelation chapter 12 from 11, the Bible says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. The emphasis here to me is, and they love not their lives even unto death. They overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. But there is something very important. They love not their own lives even unto death. That means a time is going to come when you will be demanded to love your own life. But at that point, you must be willing to die and let your life go. In the days of revival, it's not about yourself, it's about God. Does your life bring glory to Him? Is it a sweet smelling savor to Him? Is it? What fuels your prayer at night? What makes you wake up at night? What makes you cry to God at night? What makes you still do the things you do? Why are you doing what you are doing? If you cannot define the reason, you'll be in trouble. Coming does not matter. You must define the reason why you remain. We all know why we are still remaining. There is a glory we see, that although we felt we have attained unto something, but Paul was wise. I forget everything behind me and I press onto the mark of the higher calling. I know you might have achieved some things, but there is again a mark of a higher calling. Now is the judgment of this world. And now shall the prince of this world be cast down. If I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto myself. In the book of 1 John chapter 2 from 15, the Bible says, love not the world, neither the things of the world. If any man love the world, is because the love of the Father is not in him. Beyond our prayer life, one of the things that is going to keep us strong in the days of revival is our genuine love for God. Why did the apostles were willing to be crucified? Have you studied church history and found out how they killed many of the apostles of Jesus? You thought the crucifixion of Jesus was worse? It's a lie. Their own was worse. Some of them, they turned them upside down. Some of them, they pieces them, pieces. Some they gave them to dogs. In church history, there are people that they tear their body, they fry them, and they throw them to dogs. There were some that they brought them like this and brought lions. Lions ate them. What made them still remain? Because to me, that is more revival than they speaking in tongues. Because with all you are speaking in tongues, when they come to catch you, you say, I don't know Jesus. These ones, they were willing to remain, and they show men that Jesus is something to talk about, is also something to die for. If they come to confront us here now, what is the guarantee that you will remain? Sometimes I ask myself, the people in Chibok and all these places where Boko Haram are dealing with them, what is their motivation for coming to church? Because at any point in time, bomb can explode. Bam! They love the Lord even unto death. That was their motivation. They love not their life even unto death. In the days of revival, our life does not matter. The martyrs are those that are willing to give their life unto the Lord. And from that very moment that you say, God, I give you my all, at that point, God begin to use you. I will never forget in Zaria, Apostle Simon hammer on us again and again. You know, I don't want to say some of those things are part of things that he says, see, forget about yourself, focus on God. Forget about house, forget about wife, forget about school. Few of us took the thing too serious. Forget about what you eat. He said the price for all of God is all of you. Who want all of God? Me. Why? All of you. Anytime I want to eat food, a time came that if I want to eat food, I feel like, hi, are you sure that it's not going to offend God? Have you come to a point where you feel that just normal, something normal become like, it became so worse that sometimes you can be with your friends, say, kai, are you sure I'm not being too close to my friends more than God? You are in a relationship, you don't feel like sometimes you love the lady more than God. You don't love God. There should be a certain level of contention. You are feeling as if, kai, are you sure that I'm not giving more attention to something more than? Do you understand my point? In fact, a time came we go to class and we are in class, but we feel like, kai, as if I've not spent time with God today, and I've been in lecture from morning to evening. So the thing begin to pain us. Why? We remember the price for all of God is all of us, and everybody is competing. Have you given God time today? Have you given God time today? How long have you stayed with God today? And we say, I'm locking myself. We will check the next 2 days. After 2 days, we will see. After that was how we're doing. Have you read this book? Have you read that book? Have you done this? Have you fasted like this? Have you seen an angel before? Have you seen this? Have you read this Bible? This kind of thing. Until God become popular again. Because let me tell you, the devil is doing his best to advance the frontiers of his kingdom. There has to be people that are willing to remain. And let me tell you, I bring you a submission. The people that God is going to use, they are going to be common. They are going to be ordinary. We are ordinary men helped of God. You are not going to be a kind of qualified person. In fact, some of you, your church must have cast you away. Some of you may be half cast. Some of you may not even understand your genealogy. Some of you are just like Melchizedek, without father, without mother, without beginning of end, without beginning, without even end. You don't even know where you began. You just know that Kai, you are just here. And just the way you are, Jesus is working in you. And the reason why he's working in you is because there is something that matters more to him. And when it matters to him, it will matter to your generation. You may not be able to understand what is going on inside of you right now. Remain within the crucible. In the days of revival, God is sitting upon men. There is a spirit brooding upon the inside. And when it's done brooding, it's an avalanche. Emmanuel, thy whole world is calling your name. Emmanuel, when you come again, Emmanuel, help the church to see your holy face. Emmanuel, when you come to win. Emmanuel, Philip Cephas is calling your name. Emmanuel, when you come again. Emmanuel, help the church to see your holy face. Emmanuel, when you come to reign. Let me find the larger point. Revelation chapter 1 from 9. And I, John, was also among your brother and companion in tribulation. I was in the spirit on the last day. I'm your brother and companion in tribulation and in the kingdom of God and the patience of Jesus Christ. I was cast to the island of Patmos to die because of the testimony of Jesus, and I was in the spirit on the last day. I sat down and I asked myself. That was when John began to write letters to the churches in Philadelphia, Asia Minor. All the churches were actually around Asia Minor. When you study history, Asia Minor was actually a region where there was a revival, and there were many churches there. Thyatira, Philadelphia, Sardis, Pergamos, all of them were a region where the churches were established. When the time came where all those European nations to Damascus became Islamic stronghold centers, what happened that all the churches in Asia Minor became Islamic stronghold center? All these churches that Paul was writing letters to, that John was writing letters to, that all the apostles went to strengthen them, became a citadel of the devil. When you go to ancient Europe now, present day Europe, you will find no God. When you go to Damascus, you remember the story how Paul was advancing to Damascus and encounter God. You will go there now, all those places have become Iran. All these Iran were actually biblical historical places. Those places where God was in the citadel. But right now, because iniquity abound, the love of was cooled, Satan sit upon it, and the dark age came, and church were replaced to become mosque. See, it became worse that even in Jerusalem, the temple of the Lord became a mosque. If you go to Jerusalem now, Muslims are still contending for position with Christians. That is why you are seeing Hamas, Palestine, Pakistan. All those regions were Christian centers, stronghold. Now Muslims have taken over. How many places you can count where Christians were dominating? Now Muslims have taken over. Kaduna, any region, check. They have come and they have collected it. And now because they have collected it, they have left us in decadence. And that is why if we are not careful, a time will come they will establish a covenant and say no Christian governor will ever rule in Lafayette, in Nasarawa state, and it will remain, but not in our day and time, over our dead body. We cannot remain in bondage and be okay. No. How can you remain in bondage and you're okay? And they are giving you cucumber and garlic. Say take it. It became so worse that men that were designed to eat manna, they were eating cucumber and garlic, and they are now desiring it to go back. Say, Moses, why did you take us out of this place? Take us back. May that day not come where you will be the one that will tell us we could have desired a Muslim governor now, because you are taking us back to Egypt. We are doing our best to fight our way out of this captivity, and I'm telling you the truth, in the days of revival, nobody will be in bondage. Sometimes it amazes me, the story of men like Daniel, how they were willing to remain in the lion cage and die. The story of the Hebrew boys. We know our God will deliver us, but in case if he failed to deliver us, we will be here. If we perish, we perish. When will we make such kind of utterances? Imagine the story. Jonah suffered so bad, belly of the fish. It looks as though it was easy, but I assure you it was not easy. What does it mean to be in the belly of the fish for 3 days? Can you try it and still survive? But sometimes before a revival happened to a city, Certain men must be willing to bear the infirmity. The Bible says you don't have a high priest that cannot be touched by the feeling of the infirmity, but at all costs he was tempted like you and I. And that's the reason why sometimes if you are in a territory, you are in a region, you get filled by the feeling of the infirmity of the region. If that region is poor, you will remain poor for a while. If the region is in bondage, you'll be in bondage for a while. If the region is suffering from loss, you enter there, you'll be in loss for a while. If the region is suffering from all kinds of failed marriage, as you just enter, your wife will tell you, I don't want to do again. Anything that happened to that region will happen to you. If that region business don't work, you enter there, your business will not work too. Why? A priest is touched by the feeling of the infirmity. Now that you have understood it, you cannot begin to deal with it. You enter into a campus, you don't know why. You that you have never failed before, failure begin to pursue you. There is a reason. You are coming there as an intercessor, as a high priest. Now you are feeling the infirmity of the campus, so you begin to have carryover. And the Lord is trying to let you know you are now being touched by the feeling of the infirmity of the Christians in this campus, that there is an injustice called carryover. Although they did not want to have it, but they are giving it to them. Many of them have read it again. Suddenly you enter into the campus. As you are reading, you are not understanding. You are not being touched by the feeling of the infirmity of everyone there. That there is a spirit that come to sit upon men that they cannot comprehend their book. Or you read, you enter exam hall, the thing forget. You are now touched by the same feeling. Why? As a high priest. In the days of revival, what happened to the high priest is that they are strengthened. When the Lord begin to strengthen you, then you see the first become the last, and the last became the first. And what look as though it's not going to be possible, the Lord now turn again the captivity. Then it looks as though you are dreaming. In the book of Hebrews chapter 11, my last scripture, Hebrews chapter 11 from 28. What will herald the revival in this last day is going to be a strong spirit of intercession. Not just a prayer, Father, give me. Now, Emmanuel, thy whole world is calling your name. Emmanuel, when you come again, Emmanuel, help the church to see your holy face. Emmanuel, when you come to it. Can you forget about yourself for some months and seek God? In the days of the Moravian outpouring, few men gathered themselves together. They left their family, left everything, and they gathered. They said, we have seen what is going on in our region, but we are willing to remain praying for the next 100 years. God, if you give us 100 years, we will pray. If you give me 10 years, I will pray. If you give me 1,000 years, I will pray. If you decide to give me 1 hour, I will pray. I will pray to the degree to which I can breathe. And these men were not asking God for a job. They were not even asking God for a house. They were not asking God for a car. They don't even care whether they have children. In case they born you, you are part of the prayer. So they gathered their children and their wives, and all of them became intercessors. And they gathered themselves in a place. That is what is referred to as the Moravians. And they gather and continue to pray. As they pray, others die, others were bettered. Children were born in prayer, and they remain in prayer. They stay in prayer. The only thing they do was they just go and eat, they come back and continue to pray. They camp in a place. I remember the revival in Kansas City by the Mike Bickak. Mike what? That International House of Prayer with them Bob Jones and Paul Kane. They gathered to pray 24 hours. That was the people that mentor men like Daddy Rick Joanna and Bill Johnson. And all of those people that you see that are doing Jesus culture, even part of some of these some people came out from that crucible of that prayer. It was International House of Prayer in Kansas City. Find out what happened to Bob Jones and Paul Kane. Men gathered together and they say we will pray for the rest of our lives. So in case they diagnose you in hospital, they say you have cancer, you have 10 days to live. come and give that 10 days to God. Pray and die here. Ha. When they diagnose you have HIV and AIDS, you don't have a life, they say come here and die. Everybody became like Prophetess Anne and Simon. Her husband died, and she did not feel the need to marry another man. She gave the remaining days to the Lord and say, oh God, as a widow that I am, I choose to bend my wings and my womb to become that for intercession. And as she bent herself and begin to pray, and when Simon too begin to pray, it was not long enough. They begged for death, they cannot find death. And that man was looking for her to die, he cannot die. Everybody is afraid of death. This one is looking at death, death can't take him. And he was told that until the day Jesus is born, you can't die. So his prayer was what was keeping Jesus. And when Jesus was born, he said, let me see this son so that I can go. A son in the spirit held his life. So our life was hinged upon the strength of intercession. It then means a man that can pray can live forever, because men prayed and they live. Those people that gathered together in Moravia, the one that they say they have 10 days to live, came there, they cannot die again. Doctors said these ones are about to die. When they enter into that place of prayer and donated their life for prayer, they didn't die again. Those days they gave them to die has come and passed. In the days of revival, God bring men back to life. I don't know what situation is beclouding you. I don't know how your life is useless now. You have not presented it in the altar of prayer. Why do you think men bring a sacrifice to God? It's because they know that without a fire burning upon the altar, there cannot be a voice in the spirit. The realm of the spirit answer nothing but to sacrifice. In the days of revival, men and women are willing to pray and to cry. Every day they pray, day in and day out. And after 100 years, they sell themselves as slaves and they move to diverse regions. Some of them came to Africa. Some of them went to all kinds of places. Some went to India. Some go to diverse regions to revive men. Some of them came to our villages. When you heard about the Sudan missions, people that established Ekwa, Koki Church, where do you think they came from? Those white people that came and died in our land, where do you think they came from? They could not die in their land. They have to come and bring the revival to die here. Some of them had sickness in their body, but they could not die, because so longer they remain in that place of prayer, they can't die. So they have to advance to where the calling of God is, and they die in the land the Lord had apportioned unto them. I read about men and women. Imagine our father, the one that is in Ibadan till now, right? That died in Ibadan. His daughter is still there. Pa Elton left everything he was doing and came to Africa. Came and stay and die. They say go back. He said I can't go back. In fact, when the Lord sent Pa Elton to Nigeria, that was how he came. He was thinking he would come and do some doctor work. There are many of you streaming from the US. Somebody reached me from the US. He said he felt the Lord is wanting him to come to Nigeria to come and establish an orphanage home, do philanthropy. I said we have too many people doing those things. If you are coming here, come with the flame of revival. See, let me tell you, those fathers that came from the US, they did not just come with money to give us. They came with a fire. They came with utterance. They came with a glory. When you see Africa worship their graves, it's not because of anything. These men came and they were willing to die. They came with power. Men like John Chilek, they said put the virus in my hand. The virus died. Pa Elton came and he trained people like Billy Akani, trained people like Daddy E. Adeboye, trained people like Archbishop Benson Idahosa. It was men like Pa Elton that connected Archbishop Benson Idahosa to people like them Gordon Lise. You see, if you are coming to Nigeria, know that Nigeria is already upon the flames of revival. We need people that will add more fire. Don't come with your dying self. Because right now, Europe and US can't even salvage themselves. Many of them, their children are not on fire again. They themselves are suffering to survive. If you are in the US, if you are in Europe, you can only survive by intercession. Why? Because the boundary lines have been shifted. And let me tell you, whether you like it or not, we are product of prayer. We are born by prayer. We are going to survive by prayer. We are going to be maintained by prayer. Let nobody tell you that your prayer life does not matter. If it doesn't matter, why is the devil attacking it? Why is he after it? Anything the devil is interested in means because it's too important. You are not a comedian. If you are a comedian, why are you feeling the body to pray? You are not just a drummer. If you are a drummer, why are you feeling like to pray? You are not just a singer. You are a priest of the Lord. And every priest understands his altar. And every altar must be salted by fire. In the days of revival, he maketh his angels wings. His ministers are a flame of fire. Every utterance is coming out from our lips is fire. Anybody I meet in the office is fire. You are not just a businesswoman. You are a woman at an altar. You are not just a lecturer. You are a lecturer at an altar. You are not just a teacher in a school. Let that school catch fire. Our assignment is that we make Jesus popular everywhere. In your workplace, in your street. Where are those moments where our fathers of old enter a hotel? As they enter the hotel, as they are playing the circular song, they began to cry. And the sound system stopped. When the sound system stopped, the presence of the Holy Ghost entered the hall. And everybody begin to cry. People that were smoking, stop smoking. People that were drinking, stop drinking, because a man entered into the territory. In the days of Mama Katenkuma, anytime she entered a place, everybody went under the power. In the days of revival, God is advancing with us. In the days of Maria Woodward Eater, nobody come to our meeting and remain the same. As many of you are weeping and crying as this. Maria Woodward Eater, as you are in the meeting, as your eyes are closed, you are taken into heaven. Many people that doubt Jesus enter the hall. As they enter the hall, they are caught up in the spirit. You can be like this, an angel will catch you and take you straight to the realm of the spirit. See, don't be waiting for another person. You are the one. Don't be waiting for another preacher. You are the one. If you are not the one, why is God troubling you? Why is he disturbing you? Don't God know that you have a problem? Don't God know that your GP is bad? Don't God know that you don't have a husband? Don't God know that you are not married? Forget about those things. God knows about that thing, but he knows that there is something you can give him. There is something you can give him. God knows that you are poor. He knows you don't have an admission. Offer your life as a living sacrifice. Men in time past gave everything to God. They gave themselves, they gave their life. They were not afraid of nothing. They were willing to remain and to stand. In the book of Hebrews chapter 28, the Bible said many people get many things by faith. By faith they got this. By faith they got that. By faith they got this. By faith, by faith, by faith. But when you advance, the Bible says some people through faith, through faith, through faith, through faith they endure. Through faith they suffer. Through faith they were oppressed. Through faith they were tormented. Yet again they refused to compromise. They refused to give up. They advanced with the revival. What do you want? Was the question that he was asked. He said, I want all that is in you, that makes you you. What do you want? The Bible said, pray without ceasing.